Dear Misty, have you ever been in a physical or verbal altercation with another queen because of jealousy? And if yes, how did you resolve it? Alright, yes, jealousy is ever present in the world, especially in anything entertainment, because 1 minute you're in, 1 minute you're out. And everybody that's in entertainment wants to be the best. They think they're the best often, even when they're not. I'm talking about anything, modeling, singing, acting. Like, you'll see a lot of people trying to walk around and tell you how amazing they are. But as I always say, if I have to tell you I'm amazing, I'm not amazing. Somebody that's actually going to be amazing, they just are amazing. People know it. They don't have to tell them they're amazing. So, yeah. But to answer your question, have I ever been in a physical or verbal altercation? Unfortunately, yes. And the one thing I'm going to tell you is, if you're ever in an altercation, you have to remember, don't stoop to their level. Unfortunately, a lot of gay people, especially the vicious queens, will attack below the belt, and they're going to pry and poke and try to stab something that they think you're insecure about, like a weakness. And when they do this, reaching below the belt, so to speak, usually they're hoping to agitate or cause a major reaction in you, so you obviously flip off the handle and come back. But let me tell you this, if there is ever a physical altercation, especially in public, the last thing you should ever do, I don't care who's right and who's wrong, you should never hit them back. Because if the police were called, if they punched you and you didn't punch them, they're going straight to jail. But if you both punched each other, you're both going to jail. Do not ever hit another person. I don't care why or how. And if there is a physical altercation, call the police. You know, you should never have to stand that. So get the police involved and get this shit taken care of. I've been having verbal altercations ever since I was in high school. You know, going to the boys' bathroom, you're in the wrong bathroom, blah, 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 things like that. And that's when you're gonna have to really rise above it and swallow your pride and be like, look, you have to think, is it worth reacting? Is it worth responding? And sometimes it's better to just like pretend like you didn't hear them and keep walking. If it's, because you have to think one thing, people that make fun of others are friendship. Like, if they were cackling around and I'm calling, you know, the girls' names or whatever, it's because they're my friend and I like them. But if they are straight up attacking you, that's not out of friendship. And if they are attacking you, you don't need to stoop to their level. Just get away, get out, and, you know, stay above it. That's my advice. Do not stoop to their level, stay above it, and just be like, peace. I don't have time for trash. Don't tell them that, just think it. And look at them if you want and be like, really? And just walk away. Because bullies pick on weak people, and the more weak and the more you act like it bothers you, the more they're going to keep coming. And the more you try to fight back, the more they're going to keep coming. So just get away from it. And if it's in a work situation, get a manager involved. Be like, I just want to let you know, like, for example, when you're waiting tables, if something goes a little bit wrong and the table's not mad yet, you still go to the manager and you're like, I just want to let you know that 42, her steak came out well done, she wanted it medium rare, she's not mad, but I just wanted you to be prepared in case something escalates and something happens. I want you to be able to fix the situation before it gets out of control. You always keep your manager apprised of the situation. And what I used to do at Cheesecake was, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 be fully escalated, I go by the manager and be like, hey, table 2's a 3 because of whatever. Hey, table 5 is becoming more like a 6 or 7. Be aware. Or 82 is kind of a 7, you know, for whatever reason. His drinks took too long, and a lot of it might not even be your fault, like at a restaurant. But you still tell the manager, look, something's happening. And especially when it's considering your safety, if it's a physical altercation or a verbal altercation, it's just your pride. And the funny thing is, when you're in drag, everybody's watching you, even if they're acting like they're not watching you. Now, if there's another queen that's jealous of you because of whatever reason and tries to make you feel inferior or stupid because she wants to feel better than you, and she lashes out, you have to realize that everyone's watching. And even if you're doing it in a joking way, if you yell back at her, people might not hear what you're saying, they just know you're yelling. And I remember one time, it was actually me and Miss Corey, and Miss Corey and I were in a verbal yelling match, and we weren't fighting with each other. I didn't approve of her boyfriend at the time. He was a worthless piece of trash, and now she agrees with me. But we were fighting about him, and I was like, I don't want him to be here, I don't like the way he treats you, and we were yelling inside a bar at each other, and she was the one that was like, stop, people are looking at us, they don't know what we're yelling about, they just see us yelling, and we're not in a fight, so stop acting like it. And it was something that resounded. It was many, many years ago that this happened, and it has resounded in me, like, oh my gosh, she's right. They don't know what we're yelling about. They just see us yelling at each other. And that's the same thing. If they see you yelling back at her, they're like, oh my god, that bitch is shady. You know? And again, this is verbal attacking. This is not reading. This is not kikiing. This is not having fun. You'll know the difference. When somebody's like, girl, whatever, I don't know you, so I can't pretend to read you. But, you know, your makeup is terrible, you know, whatever your friends say. We read each other a lot, especially in backstage situations. The people that we like. So, but yeah, if they're doing it in a public way for an audience, they're obviously trying to embarrass you or to try to look good. But what they don't realize is by telling somebody they're fat, it doesn't make them automatically skinny. And pointing out somebody else's weakness doesn't make them automatically flawless. You know, especially when you're pointing out the same flaw. I'm like, bitch, take that plank out of your own eye before you start looking at that shit in mine. And why does it bother you? It bothers you because you're looking at your own fucking reflection. Don't say that. This is my own thoughts. You know, it'd be like, why does, you know, whatever. Because a lot of times what we don't like about ourselves really bother us in other people. Something to think about. But yes, avoid physical altercations, avoid verbal altercations is my overall. And I have been in one before, and the last one that I was in, I was at work, and there was a group of people that were at my work, and they were queens, and it was a backstage situation where we have a rule during the show that nobody in the show can be backstage. No boyfriends, no fans, no friends. And it was after the show, and there were some people backstage, and I was really, you know, it was a long night, and I was like, look, you can't be back here. I'm sorry, you can't be back here. And they're like, the show's over. I'm like, it doesn't matter if the show's over. My purse is over there. My personal things are here. Nobody can be backstage. If something goes missing, who did it? Nobody knows because there's too many people back here. Get out. And I guess somebody told her drag mother that I disrespected her or whatever, and she was a drunk mess and came backstage, and it was funny because she was a tranny and she wasn't wearing underwear, which is irrelevant. She was wearing like a muumuu house dress, and she comes backstage and she was totally trashed, and she's like, I'm gonna fucking fight you like a man, and she took off her dress and she's like, I'm gonna fight you like a man, man to man. And I just started laughing. It completely caught me off guard. A, I wasn't fighting anybody. B, it is what it is. It's a rule. I was enforcing it. You can be mad about it. And C, I wasn't disrespecting anybody. And D, who the fuck are you coming into my dressing room trying to fight me? So I just started laughing. And that pissed her off even more. She's like, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass. And I just started laughing in her face. But secretly, I was like, oh my god, she could kick my ass. But everyone in the dressing room and everyone at the club immediately had my back. And I knew that, like, if she were to actually charge me and, like, punch me in my face, everyone would have been on her. And it would have been hashtag over. But Thank God that didn't happen. Security came back and it was like everybody was yelling and screaming and everyone's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine, nothing happened. She just yelled at me because of something stupid. I'm not mad at her, and we made up sense, thank God, because she has since passed away. But I was never mad at her. She was just drunk and being obnoxious, you know. And some people try to prove to their friends that they're mighty, and or maybe she was having a rocky relationship with her drag daughter and she wanted to prove to her drag daughter that she had her back and she loved her or whatever. I don't know what was going on in her head, but I know that it had nothing to do with me. And I just, instead of fighting her or even arguing with her, I just laughed. And I was like, look, I don't have a problem with you, but you can't be back here. Either. And the security escorted her out. Yeah. But I think a lot of people, when they see me, they know my heart and they know my spirit. So a lot of people don't come for me, but they do try to make me feel inferior. But I have learned not to let their opinions bother me because they don't matter. Which I've said many times. If you're not paying my bills, your opinions don't matter to me. You don't have to like my dress. You don't have to like my hair. You don't have to like my makeup. You don't have to like my body. And that's okay. I don't care what you think. I like myself, and I'm currently employed, and my job seems to like me, so I don't care what you think. You know? This has turned out to be a really long answer when I didn't mean for it to be. Loving you is easy.